Okay, here's the thing. Remember when we were kids and it was awesome to use your imagination and everybody thought that was the funnest thing? You could turn a little play structure into a fucking airplane that was flying through space. When were we told to stop listening to our dreams and to stop using our imaginations and stop dreaming about all the awesome things that we could do with our lives? When did these limiting beliefs come into play? I don't get it. Let's talk about it. Hey, friend. Welcome to the Ready to Rise podcast with your host, me, Audrey Rose. This is the podcast all about taking your life to the next level. Join me on my journey as I create a life that I'm obsessed to wake up for every day. I hope that you are ready to create a life that you really, really love. Are you ready to rise? You know, I already said that I really want to focus on laying a foundation to finding what lights you up and letting yourself start to make that change in your life and learning how it's possible to make that change and become that person that you've really wanted to be for a while and find a life that you really, really love. So today I want to talk about just another little layer that we're adding to that foundation. We talked about fear last time. We talked last time about how we get these awesome ideas on our heart and then it becomes a fear-based mentality that starts to take over and talks us out of it, and it's all an ego-based issue. It just completely talks us out of that fun idea, that amazing thing that we wanted to do, and that idea that we had basically. Today, I was just kind of thinking about myself and my struggle and the things that I've gone through. And I was I remember that really dark time in my life where I just couldn't get out of bed, right? And I knew I had to go to work, I had to pay the bills. So I wasn't as depressed as some people who literally don't get out of bed and don't go to work. I did call off quite a bit. We were blessed at that time to have a lot of travel nurses, and I was able to call off because we were overstaffed often. I wouldn't get paid for that day, but I just kind of kept it cheap and I made ends meet by doing that. So I was blessed to have quite a few days off. But like I said, I still did go to work often. I just showed up late or right on time and had the greasiest hair in the world because I didn't give myself time to take care of myself, basically. So thinking back to that story, it was like I said last time, just about kind of those fear-based, maybe fear-based beliefs, what stopped me from doing something that I really wanted to do or whatever. But I was kind of thinking about it last night and just what was it that stopped me from living the life that I knew I should be living? So I would look ahead to the person I wanted to be. And she was fun, she was happy, she was always on time to everything. She looked like a little bit more put together than I did at that time. She was, on top of things. She would make it to the meetings and do all the things, basically. Take care of her dog, take her dog on walks. Just, you can see the picture. And I was like, okay, so that's where I want to be, right? I'm looking ahead. That's the goal that I have. So now, what are the steps that I need to take to get myself there? What am I going to do? So basically, you start to lay out those steps, okay, well, you need to wake up 30 minutes early so that you can shower, or you need to, instead of going straight to bed after work because you're just exhausted from the depression, you need to kind of walk your dog at least for 5 minutes or, start small. And I started thinking of those goals. But then what talks me out of it? And as I did kind of that deep thinking, like I said yesterday, I really started to understand that there was a lot of limiting beliefs talking me out of everything. I'm the type of person that if I put my mind to a goal and I really want to accomplish it and I just know that I can, it's going to get done. Trust me. I am an Aries. I am 100% fire. I will get it done. I don't care, how late I need to stay up at night, whatever. If there's something I'm fired up for, it's going to happen and it will work out. So I usually don't have those limiting beliefs of I can't do it, or I don't have the resources. I don't have whatever it takes to get this done. But I was looking into those limiting beliefs and I realized that I did have a strong, strong limiting belief of the feeling of not being worthy. And I think a lot of women struggle with that, and most people don't want to admit it because it's wrong. That's not true. You're so worthy of everything you want in this life. But I felt extremely unworthy. Who knows where that came from? I had a therapist once kind of tell me, so what I would do when I started to like learn about this idea is I would try to, think so hard and think back to like any possible issue or anything that came up in my childhood that made this happen and that caused me to have these beliefs. And like she pointed out, you could have just been put on timeout for a very logical reason at 3 years old, and then that could have formed this feeling. Or who knows, like maybe in kindergarten, you're like 4 years old and you show your teacher a piece of art, but she's occupied with something that just happened that you didn't know about. And then she didn't really pay attention to you and you felt unworthy. Who knows? It could come from the most obscure place that you could think about, but it leaves this deep, deep impression on your heart and you can't always get rid of that. So instead of looking back and trying to solve that problem, that thing that happened when you were 4 years old that you don't even remember because you can't, you don't know. And you were a kid then, and our brains are so different as children. We don't process things, of course, the same as we do now. So instead of looking back on that and trying to think, hey, like what happened to me at that stage of my life? What was it that caused me to feel this way? You have to instead just start to move forward now. So, as I said, just looking into these limiting beliefs and trying to figure out, hey, like what is the limiting belief? Like why I know the steps I need to take to get to this goal that I have. Why am I stopping myself from taking these steps that are so easy to take? I need to just spend 5 minutes with my dog instead of going to bed right after work, whatever it is. And yeah, those limiting beliefs, they'll really kind of get you. You've got to really look into them and think about them. Like, what is it that's truly stopping me from this goal? And the other catchy thing is we will very unconsciously make up excuses and procrastinate for ourselves. Like, I'm not taking that walk. I haven't been doing that, after work because I don't have the right shoes. And so, they don't match my outfits. Like, I just can't do that. But that's not true. Like, you've got to start looking into these ideas and the ways that you're procrastinating around reaching your goals and really look into all the deep beliefs behind them. So for me, the example that I was using, of not getting up out of bed and not like starting to meet those goals to live the life and be the person that I truly wanted to be. Of course, depression played into that, but also I didn't want to take those steps because I didn't feel worthy. That girl that I wanted to become, that woman that I saw that I just wanted to be, I wanted to be her. I described her at the beginning of this. I wanted to be her, but you know what? I didn't feel worthy of being her. I felt like I had to sit around and be in this funk and be in this depression and be the girl who was just like a wallflower on the side of the room who, no one paid attention to or whatever it is. And it was all based on this deep limiting belief of unworthiness. So I really, really wanted to lay this foundation of just kind of saying, that we've got to look into those limiting beliefs and work around the things that are holding us back from living that life that we want to live. So like I said, I just wanted to lay a couple of foundation pieces as we start off this podcast, this brand new podcast. And, the whole thing is geared towards learning tips and tricks and everything towards living a life that you're actually in love with and that you're actually fired up for and that you are, living, like seriously living, because we don't know how long we're on this planet. So I wanted to start with just a couple of pillars. And, like I said previously, I talked about fear last time and how fear is one of those pillars that gets in the way of us living that passionate life. But the second one is really limiting beliefs. Like, why do we limit ourselves? You want to live an exciting life. Okay, there's a million things you can change about your life to make it better, but why aren't we doing that? Why are we stopping ourselves? Why are we like, oh, I'm going to make my life so much better by, saving money for a trip that I've been wanting to take forever to Italy, or I want to make my life so much better by like doing my hair every day because it makes me feel better about myself or whatever it is. So why aren't we doing that? Like, what is stopping us? Okay, let's backtrack for just a second. So what is a limiting belief? A limiting belief is just basically a belief, that your brain subconsciously kind of throws out there into your consciousness and makes you believe a thought that will limit you. So that's like what I was explaining earlier, where it's like, oh, I really want to have this type of life. Oh no, subconsciously now, my brain is giving me these signals that I'm not worthy of that type of life, right? So, what exactly is our brain doing that for? Like, what is the purpose that our brain or our ego, whatever you want to call it, what's the purpose of that? Honestly, it's to keep us comfortable. It's easy. It's so easy when our life is just comfortable. We're just kind of cruising along, going through the motions, doing whatever we want to do. It's easy. It's comfortable. We're on fucking autopilot, dude. Like, you just drove to the store, you forgot exactly how you got there. I mean, that is what day-to-day life starts to become when we believe these limiting beliefs and we just stay in this comfort zone. But there's like a little saying, and I think it goes something like this: nothing good will grow from a comfort zone. What is even the purpose? What's the purpose of a comfort zone? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, you feel good. It's easy. It's just day-to-day life that's not changing, but that's the point, is the fact that it's not changing. So how do we start to work on these limiting beliefs, guys? I think what we have to do first is notice them, right? So a lot of people that study A Course in Miracles, such as Gabrielle Bernstein, Marianne Williamson, they really believe in witnessing everything that your mind is doing as a step to change. So you start having limiting beliefs. It's something that you need to start witnessing. I said this in the last episode about fear. Like, you take inventory of the thought that comes after you think about your dreams and your mission, your values, like whatever it is that's on your heart that you want to do. So what you need to do is take inventory and then witness that. So like I said last time, is it a fear-based thought? Okay, let's journal it out. How about the same thing here? Is this a belief that's just completely limiting me? And if it is just a belief that's limiting you, then what can we do about it? Let's really dive into that and think about that. You need to start kind of like questioning yourself like a 4-year-old questions why the sky is blue, okay? We really need to start working on this. So I have this dream. I want to be this person. I see myself as this wonderful woman that I want to be. Okay, well, what's the goal that I need to take to get there? Cool, now I know the goal. Now, why am I not doing that? And like I said earlier today, like, why am I not doing that? And then start diving in. And that's what I had to do for myself, really start diving in. Like, why am I not waking up 10 minutes earlier today? And then hopefully, making that into a routine where it eventually becomes an hour earlier before work. Like, why am I not doing this? Well, because I just don't want to work out. Well, why don't you want to work out? Well, it's hard. Of course it's hard. Keep questioning yourself, keep getting down there. Oh, because I don't feel like I'm worthy of having a body I'm proud of, or having the stamina of climbing this mountain that I want to climb, or whatever it is. I don't think I'm worthy of doing that. And that's the bottom, that's for me, that's what came down to the bottom limiting belief. But just keep asking yourself why. And as you start to witness your thoughts, you'll start to truly realize like why they're coming up. Like I said, you might not get down to that thing that happened when you were 4 years old that caused this belief, but you're at least going to get close enough to realizing that this belief is not serving me. This belief is not true. This belief is something that I've allowed to hinder my life for so long, and I'm done with it. Write it down. Burn it. There's a lot of women do these kinds of rituals that are so fun, where they write things down that are no longer serving them and they burn them. Like, literally light a candle inside your kitchen sink, please. Like, not somewhere dangerous that you're going to catch your fucking house on fire, but have a barbecue pit outside or a fire pit outside, whatever it is, and light a candle and then burn that piece of paper that has those things that are no longer serving you on it. Because truly, why are we hanging on to these things? Write it down in your journal. Write down how you're going to change and what your plan is to get rid of this negative thought, and just start witnessing it. Seriously, witnessing is such an important thing. So the more and more, of course, you're not going to notice it every time, but the more and more that you do notice these thoughts coming up for you, the more that you will start to actually like pay attention basically, and you're paying attention to the fact that I'm thinking this thing, it doesn't serve me. Why am I doing this to myself? I'm going to move on. And the more that you can just kind of debunk that, the more that you're going to like start to change that thought process for yourself and realize that, hey, I am worthy. I'm worthy of doing whatever I put my damn mind to because this is my life. This is my one time here. This is my time. So, as we know, change is really scary, right? It's kind of what keeps us in these old thought patterns that I've been talking about. It's really easy for us to think that, I was born this person or I've been this type of person for the last 5 years or whatever it is, and kind of just keeping yourself in that personality. Basically keeping yourself stuck, keeping those excuses going, not thinking that you can change. Like we can get really stuck and focused on who we are or where we are in life instead of looking at what we're becoming or who we're becoming, right? And let me tell you, sister, you're focusing on the wrong thing. You need to be focusing on who you're becoming, right? So those limiting beliefs come up, just kind of witness them and then think about this like, okay, well, who am I actually becoming? Who do I actually want to be? Are those limiting beliefs serving me? Is this thought that I just had serving me? Is, like this idea that just popped up in my head and then was completely shot down by the fact that I would have to wake up an hour early before work to get this done every day? Like, is that belief serving me? Which one is actually going to get me to that end goal that I want? Because I'm not trying to sit around my whole life and stay stuck in this same funk or same personality, same thing. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't want to stay there my whole life. What's the point of that, right? The point is like, I want to grow. I want to do more. I want to become more. I want to constantly evolve as a person, right? And if I'm stuck in this negative belief, if I'm stuck in this old pattern and this old behavior and this old person because I don't believe that there's such thing as change, then I am just wasting my time. You're wishing it away. You're wishing for changes, wishing for beliefs, wishing for anything that's going to happen. And seriously, like, how is that serving us, right? Like, what is that doing for us? You always have the choice. You always have the choice to stay stuck, stay in that same old habit, that old thought, or you can choose to evolve. You can choose to change versus that old suffering, right? Wishing for things, that's not going to change anything, right? Hope, Autumn Calabrese says this all the time. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. We can't just want things to happen, wish for them, hope for them to happen, and then they don't. No. You need to actually start taking the time and the inventory of your life and where it's going right now before it will change, right? So again, you have that end goal. You need to start kind of looking at what it is that's blocking you towards it for right now. And just think, like, if we can change the perception of our limiting beliefs and somehow change the way that we are thinking about them, like, instead of thinking, I, have this limiting belief that I'm not worthy of this, start changing that perception about it and remembering that you are worthy of all these things, or, whatever you need to do, the perception that needs to change around that belief, because you're going to gain so much. You aren't losing anything. You're not losing comfort. You're not losing anything at all. Literally, all you're doing is just getting rid of those old thought patterns, okay? You're just getting rid of them. What we need to do is just remember that we don't need to suffer anymore. We don't need to stay in the past anymore. We're allowed to make our own choices. We are our own people. This is our time, and I'm tired of staying stuck. So let's think about those limiting beliefs. I'm obsessed with hearing all of these messages that you guys are giving me, and the feedback that I'm getting about this podcast already has been just so amazing, and I love hearing it from you guys. Seriously, I really, really do. I love it. These messages I'm getting just about like, how do I do this? Or you mentioned journaling on your podcast and what are your ideas for that? And I'm really stoked to be able to actually hear back from you guys about what you like. So don't forget, you can DM me anytime. Instagram, enlightened @LightandPeriodWellness. Anytime. I'm like really loving these messages, and I like hearing what you guys are resonating with and what you're liking right now, so I can get it out there and we can have these conversations, So just think about it. Try not to stay stuck any longer. Like, get rid of these limiting beliefs. Let's do this because we need to move into healing ourselves. There's no point sitting around wishing for it. There's no point in letting ourselves be stopped by these limiting beliefs. There's no point. We have already wasted a lot of our time stuck in this, right? Think about how much time we've already wasted. So let's kind of stop doing that. Let's really get on the path here and start this healing journey. So like I said, take these last couple of episodes. There might be one more if I think of something awesome, like foundation wise or pillar wise, like I've been saying. And let's just kind of open ourselves up for this journey. Like I was saying, and I really hope that this resonates with you. I'm excited to hear about it. I really cannot wait to get into these juicy details and explain to you so many of the different modalities I've used to actually get into this healing. I've done a lot of different classes with different people, tons of energy work, meditations, guided meditations, all kinds of really, really cool things. Tons of books that I've read lately. I've had a good past 2 years really of just self-healing. It's been amazing for me. So I really can't wait to start sharing all these stories and the stories as I go through more and more things. I'm always experimenting and just doing fun, really fun things. I think it's just gonna be so fun to tell you guys all of that. But like I said, for right now, I just kind of wanted to open up these first couple of episodes with laying that groundwork to, starting to change our lives and getting rid of those blocks. What are those blocks that are stopping us from starting to open up to the possibility of living a super fun life? And to me, it's so important to talk about these, different mental struggles that we're having, the belief systems that we're feeling, and just get rid of some of these blocks out of our lives, because you cannot start healing by just going to a freaking meditation class or a yoga class and just half-assing it and not mentally being unlocked and opened up to the actual healing that takes place as you start these different journeys. So you've really got to do the self-work on the limiting beliefs, the fears, the just all the things that go with not being open to the real change. You can't just keep sitting around and saying I want to be that person one day. I want to do this. No, this is our time. Seriously, this is the time that you have to start creating that change. Who wants to live one more minute in that old mentality, that old personality? If you want to change, the time is now. I'm not trying to sit around and waste my life and wait for some fucking white horse and a prince and the things and all the money or the job promotion and all of that crap to then start living a life that I want to love. No. This is my time to live a life that I want to love now. So start doing some of the work, open your mind up to that healing. And then as it comes, you'll feel so much better. Yay, I'm so happy you were able to make it to another awesome episode. Don't forget, if this resonated with you, take a screenshot, tag me in it on Instagram at @enlightened.wellness. Or if it's something that one of your friends needs to hear, don't hesitate to send it out. Let's get this message across. Have a blessed day.